I'm driving yesterday, and Stephen A. Smith is saying no manner of hugely objectionable things about the world that I've wanted to comment on every 5 minutes for the last 2 years. But finally, he pissed me off yesterday when he's like, does Miami have a chance? Is this even going to be a game? Like Indiana, and Stephen A., you came sniffing college football 3 weeks ago. Don't try to pretend like you've been watching any of this. Miami's playing a home game for the championship. Do you people have no sense of history of what that means? Miami wins that game, always. Miami changes the fortunes of everything happening in football around here. When you bring it to Miami, throw the party at them. And Indiana, have you played this? Have you played this size of crowd? Because you went to Iowa, and Iowa, you struggled at Iowa. I was tough. And you went to Penn State, and Penn State was a failure this year, but that was tough. You've never seen this. This is Revenga. This is Scarface. Do you remember the scene in the movie? The scene in the movie, the one we all love, 10 minutes of it was filmed in South Florida, and then they chased it out because our people are very powerful and said, get that racist out of here. Pacino doesn't sound Latin at all. And we ran that whole film off, but it's ours. And in the middle of that, Tony, you probably have family that were in that camp, no?
Not in the Mariel boat lifts, but obviously everybody knew what was happening at that point. I did do a Tony's Top 5 from that exact spot, and you were like, why are you there? And I'm like, damn, because this is a massive piece of our history. This is Revenga. And then you're like, it's not that big of a deal.
Well, it is a big deal in the movie because it's what you have to do to get to freedom from Cuba, even if it means killing somebody under a highway. Because
again, he was part of the Cuban police, though, Dan.
Stephen Bauer became a star here, and Pacino already was a star. Talk about cultural appropriation. But what the riots under the bridge? What did it sound like as Stephen Bauer roamed the premises with a shiv? So now imagine what Indiana. Mendoza! Fernando! Come on. That young man knows what he's returning to, right?
He'll have a lot of people there. That's why it's a home game for him as well as it is for the Hurricanes.
I want to give all the glory to God.
That's part of the reason why the point spread is an insult to the Hurricanes. It's an insult. The fact that it creeped up over 7 points, that's an insult. Mario Cristobal's playing that, man. He's playing it all week long.
He was playing that when they were favored.
Well,
he was going into meetings saying, they think we're going to lose by 1 million.
How this gift is what I'm legitimately asking you guys. Mike keeps getting tired of me talking about the context and the history of the program. But when it comes to feeling like the U is back, you've been fighting for something, how in holy hell am I living in a universe where the world has made Miami an overwhelming underdog to win a home game in Miami? In what world? Like, I understand how many people would look at the last two games and just say Indiana's going to ransack everyone. They're undefeated. It's hard to go undefeated. But have you no sense of history when you think of every time the championship comes to Miami to be played by Miami, by a Miami team you know that's as good as this one, that has pros on the field, that Miami team wins at home against everybody who's ever played college football, even the very highest of the sport, which Indiana hasn't been except for the last 5 minutes.
So I need a little bit of help with this because I was too young. I'm pretty sure the Canes, 3 of their first 4 national championships came after wins in the Orange Bowl, right?
3 of 5.
Okay, yeah.
3 of their 5
right,
were
but
at
3
home.
of the first 4, from 83 to 91. And I'm curious, I feel like back then those games in the OB was probably 90+% Canes fans. That's not going to be the case for this game. It's a home game, but it's going to be closer to 50-50, right?
You would imagine. I mean, that's what the national championship game in a neutral site is supposed to legislate. Basically, 25% allotment goes to the Miami Hurricanes, 25% allotment goes to the Indiana Hoosiers, 20% goes to corporate, and then the remaining percentages go to the primary market. And as we've seen, some of those tickets already got snagged up, and you're getting insane prices.
I got a plan for today, by the way.
My phone has never done this. My phone has, what it is presently doing, my phone has never done outreach from all over the place to get tickets to this game.
Call them schnurrs.
You know the seats that I sit at usually? I don't have access to those Golden Cane seats, obviously.
Do you know who's going to be in your seats?
I know what they're going for.
No, but like who? Like it's,
I don't know.
It's some major corporate sponsor.
No,
right?
but like it's 6 figures. It's what those seats are going for just for this game.
Wasn't Mark Cuban saying he wanted a discount on the tickets?
Struggling.
Yeah, he was talking to Connor Stallion. It's weird.
The other thing at the center of this that makes it so fun is Miami, all of Miami can bandwagon around the big event. And this part makes me smile because of just how ridiculous it is. The Cubans never get to feel this about their guys in sports. The Cubans always are fighting to maybe be a reliever in baseball or even pitch in the World Series, but they never get to be the star of the biggest football game in America's sport. Never, ever do the Cubans ever get to feel what they have in this game, which is, are you me? The coach and the quarterback went to the same high school.
And it's in Miami. It's crazy how the stars have aligned.
It's insane.
For Indiana to be here with a Cuban quarterback that went to Columbus, the same high school as that Cuban head coach of the Miami Hurricanes, to be playing a national title game in Miami, Florida, you couldn't write a better script.
This never happens for us. And that's all I was saying the other day at the mural. This never happens for us. Cuban kids don't get to turn on the TV and see kid that went to Columbus. Oh, that could be my cousin. A guy that went to Columbus that went through all the stuff that your parents went through as second generations in this country. We never get to see that on TV, right? Now we get to see it live and in color for the biggest stage. Indiana, vengo por ti!
That's the weird dynamic about this game. If this was Ole Miss against Indiana in Hard Rock Stadium, Mendoza and Indiana would be the team. They would be worshipped. Mendoza would be worshipped in South Florida this week. But because it's Miami, there's no losing team here. If I look at it neutrally as a journalist, there's no bad story to write off this game because it's two wonderful stories.
My thought, though, placing all of those elements in front of you, not even just the Cuban parts of it, like, what's the context in the last 50 years outside of the first time they played Nebraska, the first championship they won, because Tom Osborne went for 2 when a tie would have given him the championship.
Yeah.
Failed to get a 2, starts the Miami dynasty, and all the time in there. When do I get to make Miami, after all this excellence, this kind of underdog where Stephen A. is asking whether this can even be a competitive game?
Yeah.
When it's a game in Miami, and if that's ever happened, we've seen the very beginning of this didn't quite have all the pros that when it was Portis and Gore and McGahee in the same huddle, or the secondaries, Sean Taylor and Ed Reed. This isn't that. This is not that. They do not have all the pros on one team. But the idea that this team is here, this program is here, and you've seen physically what they've done to the last 3 teams they've played, in what world is that a touchdown underdog viewed by America to not have a chance in the game?
The world in which Indiana has won their 2 college football playoff games by an average of 34.5 points per game, Dan. Like, we have watched Miami all season. We have watched the way that they've improved. We have watched all of that. But everyone else is looking at Indiana, rightfully so, as an undefeated team that has physically dominated every other team that they've played.
I think it's ridiculous that they're a 7.5 or 8.5 point favorite as well. But to that point, it does make more sense that they are that, as opposed to the line being a lot closer to even.
You mentioned the line. You know the last time Miami lost a game by more than 7 points? It was 2023 against NC State. Tyler Van Dyke had his meltdown. We said with teams, with lesser Miami teams, that teams that have this advantage along the line of scrimmage, historically in college football, they do not get blown out.
Yeah.
And I understand why people are gassing Indiana up. They've been incredible. That stat where Mendoza has 8 touchdowns and 5 incompletions.
And
in
the cheating
postseason.
part, right?
I'm not going there. but Miami's prepared. I
Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Is Indiana cheating, and is Miami prepared for that?
Prepared for the cheating.
Maybe they're cheating by giving all the glory to God.
Miami's run through teams with top 10 defenses, especially against the rush, throughout this entire run. Tony circulated the stat that's all out there about the difference in size. Miami is that's the whole thing about cheating and knowing what the plays are. We can tell you the script. Miami's going to run a gap. Ohio State was prepared for a gap. You know, Texas A&M was prepared for a gap, and these were great run defenses. And Miami just mano a mano won.
It's the revenga. It's the play. The play is not a gap. You're calling it a gap with all your fancy coaching jargon because you insist on being an offensive coordinator. Here's the play, Indiana. Cheat this. Revenga. Right behind.
Por el medio.
Right. Ahí mismo.
Revenga por el medio, dale.
Yes, I've heard that Le Batard whimpering. Run outside, right outside. No. Revenga right up the middle. It's going to be 2nd and 3 all game. Dan's going to complain about the tush push over here, but he's going to love it when those Canes get 8 yards because their offensive line is just thrown Fletcher 8 yards.
And I did call for the execution of a guard on the Buffalo Bills by the electric chair. But if Enes Cooper wants to pick up Mark Fletcher and go 15 yards, we will celebrate that.
I will say, listening to this show for the last few months, the analysis when it comes to how Miami's going to go about these games have been pretty on the nose. And the game that we were nervous about was Ole Miss because they did things that neutralized Miami's pass rush. They were more effective at getting home on the quarterback than Miami was in that game. Why? Chambliss gets rid of the ball quick. That proved to be a very real thing. Heath gets rid of the ball at 2.42 seconds a clip. Mendoza holds onto that ball longer than 3 seconds.
The perception, though, of the championship game swung wildly with the results of the 2 semifinal games, right? I mean, Miami barely gets by Ole Miss, and 38-3 over Alabama. I mean, they humiliated.
What Greg is saying is right. Quantifiably, the advance line on DraftKings for an Indiana-Miami neutral field matchup in the CFP final was 5.5.
Yeah.
And it ballooned up to 7.5.
Right, that's a big 2 points.
Immediately after that Peach Bowl.
Okay, but I keep doing this, and I feel like I must be using too many words and not communicating anything well, okay? The Alabama team that they're getting so much credit for it seems like so long ago, that Alabama team went to FSU to start the season and lost by 2 touchdowns. An FSU team that wasn't any good. An FSU team that I think ends up losing its last. Did they lose their last 9? An FSU team that has lost the state that is fighting over football presently to play against Indiana. I don't have it wrong, right?
You're right. I mean, I'm not saying Alabama's a great team.
No,
but 38-3.
No, Alabama got in on reputation. Alabama got in because we think of the SEC a certain way. To me, a victory over Alabama this year did not mean much, and Georgia was running around in uniforms that were Georgia's, but that's not the teams that you remember. All of the things in the SEC, all of them were. Oh, they were okay.
So including Ole Miss then?
Ole Miss included, yes.
Styles make fights. Transitive property is kind of dumb in this sport. And I think we know how this game is going to look like. It's going to be violent. And when you're in a rock fight, get out of here with 30-point spreads. That's not the way that this game's going to go. They're going to have to. They're an execution team. They're going to have to play a clean game, Indiana, to win this game. It's entirely possible that Miami plays a sloppy game. We just saw it. They survived in spite of that. But I don't see how this game's a blowout. But historically, in the national title game, it's either a favorite covers by a lot or a dog wins straight up.
Blowout for the Canes.
What?
You heard me?
No, are you saying it on the record?
Didn't stutter.
Are you, okay, wait a minute. Are you is this what you're saying now on the record?
Blowout for the Canes?
Yes.
He's a journalist.
What you're predicting, you're on the record now as you're Zaslow, ESPN college football game analyst. Your predictions hold, embargo, bake all week, and then you unleash them at the end of the week, and it matters what you say.
Sometimes I can't wait.
Okay, so this is premature prediculation.
Here's how this one's going to go. 90% of the betting public is going to keep listening to the Stephen A. Smiths of the world and keep hammering Indiana.
Yes.
Minus 7.5. That line will probably balloon up to close to 9.
Good.
And then before kickoff, that line is going to steam down 1.5 to 2 points. And then you're going to know because they know.
Yeah, that's when the smart money comes in. 2 days before kickoff, that line's going to drop below 7.
And that's not
Guaranteed.
a prediction. That's a spoiler.
Smart
I am
money's
sitting
right-
pretty.
Smart money's right here. Put your life savings on the Canes.
All right.
There you go.
So are there T-shirts here? Then you're gonna know because they know. Like there's a gambling T-shirt
Seems
there
like a
anywhere.
bad shirt.
It does. It seem like a bad
A
shirt.
Bert.
Okay, because it felt like that's what you were telling us right there.
I've
you're
seen this game a million times. Seen this game a
you've
million
seen
times.
this game a million times.
This line is going to steam down, and everyone's going to be like, "What's happening here?"
You're gonna manhandle them.
You've seen this game a million
Seen
times.
this game a million times.
Zaslow's on the record. Okay. So on Tuesday,
Yep. Do I look like I'm effing around?
no, you do not. I will get with Greg Cody here and get his thoughts on all of this in a second. But we really are going to have, annoying as it is, a week of build-up to this funny Miami event. And
Funny.
I mean, the business of sports is such that 5 years ago we weren't paying anyone, and now it's salary caps. And can your $21 million payroll beat Ohio State's $21 million payroll? All of this, like just to see the finances of this result in Miami in 4 years, Cristobal and Columbus buying their way into the business. They got a life wallet guy over here who's a bogus billionaire, and it starts with they sort of fake their way into, program is on its last legs here. Program's hurting. Program hasn't mattered in 20 years. Oh, they squandered all of it. Can Columbus go get us $90 million for Cristobal? Why Cristobal? He failed at FIU. Why would you do that? That's idiotic. $90 million for Cristobal. Fixes it in 4 years. Plays in the championship game. They won their way to the top of the business. Why do I think that's funny?
It's weird. I give you that. But Cristobal proved himself at Oregon. I mean, it's not like he didn't have a track record.
Greg, this doesn't get to happen when you think of the people who win championships, okay? They don't get to be this guy. They don't get to be the guy who had to climb his way up through FIU. Never mind the Cuban part of it. Who's still got the balls to go on television at Saban because he's worked with the best and now bosses around Jason Taylor. Bosses around Jason Taylor. I bet you if I talked to Jason Taylor, he'd tell me right now he's a little scared of that crazy Cuban. Legitimately scared of him because he's a lunatic.
These guys typically don't get fired at programs like FIU.
For Jason Taylor, Hall of Famer, to say, I'll get to coaching by being the guy who coaches your defensive ends. Yes, because I want to learn from this rabid Cuban. I want to get a shortcut to coaching here, learn Miami style. Oh, this guy ran FIU's business. How'd that get into a bowl game? Oh, then he got to run Nike's business. Oregon's still trying to be as relevant as they're still trying to do.
Yeah. Rest assured, coaching defensive line for several years under Mario Cristobal is no shortcut.
Look, man, Lane Kiffin ran away from Saban. Cristobal got in a 4-point stance and let's go, Saban. Give me some more. I'll eat your eyebrows, Saban. You trim your eyebrows.
I admire Cristobal. I think he's real. I think he's a real guy. I think when he uses words like relentless and violent as a style of play, he means it. I think his players have bought into it.
That part's funny, isn't it? That every interview he does, like for sure, right? If I could get betting odds, the pregame interview, he's going to say the word violent.
100%.
Yes, the word, whatever the question is, the answer. One of the words, if I could take bets on this right now, we're going to do a live stream during the championship game, and I want to figure out how to be able to somehow do bets on this. For sure, in the pregame, the betting odds would be favored to say, whatever the question is, Mario Cristobal will bite it off in one sentence, and that sentence will have the word violent in it.
If we're playing a drinking game, the first-round draft pick is violent. That's my word.
Let's play the drinking game. Let's do that on Monday night during our live stream.
Mass kicks ass.
That's going up against sweet local kid Fernando Mendoza.
I've never seen myself in an athlete more than Fernando Mendoza.
Oh man, I'm just noticing your shirt right now. You're what are you doing wearing that?
No, this is absolutely the most I've ever related to an athlete. That representation of a Cuban athlete from South Florida, the starched all the glory to God, smile on my face. Like that's the way I always approach the game. I'm going out there, I'm working hard, I'm playing for my teammates. It's the name on the front, not the name on the back. Fernando Mendoza, thank you for representing Cubans like me.
How are we doing here?
If you shave, he would look like Mendoza if he shaved.
It's not a bit, by the way, audience. Jeremy is Cuban.
But what are we doing? They made it to the national championship game. You're going to just keep going until the very end, just doing this thing? whatever it is.
So supporting
I
a
know what it is.
local
It's
kid
bullshit.
who has an unbelievable story,
But, hey,
who's
no.
made it. Look at that
You're-
face.
you're being
How
a hater.
charming is that?
You're being a hating ass hater.
Hating ass hater.
Yeah, if this were
Bingo!
if this were Oregon, I guarantee you'd be dressed like Phil Knight.
It'd be kind of cool.
Have you not learned?
Have I not learned what?
Have you not learned?
Have you not learned?
The last 2 months have been you forcibly eating it. Like they've been running it up your A gap for 2 months.
Oh,
I'm pretty
wow.
sure everything that I said was right.
Everything that you said was right. You said that James Madison should be in over Miami.
I said James Madison should be in. And they earned it.
Jeremy,
Did they?
you said Miami should be out.
Gotta want to learn. Gotta want to
But
learn.
there
All
were
right,
some teams
hold
that
on. All right,
earned their way
let me-
by winning
let me
championships.
for a moment grab Mike by the collar because it's Tuesday and I want to settle everybody down, okay? Because the week began the week began with Billy Corbin, and if we still
It's
go
going to end with Billy Corbin too.
if
I just hope both teams
Jeremy,
have fun.
Jeremy, no, I want to do this with you. I simply want to give you the space to do it because Mike is taking his victory lap aggressively. He has been right about the things Miami is. They did
About everything, Dan.
reputationally.
Let me help you out. Been right about everything.
If I'm wrong about the SEC being a fraud, I may indeed be wrong about that. But they beat the 3 teams at the top of the food chain, and they
You're
did,
not wrong about that because I was saying that months ago, and I was right about everything.
and maybe
24-14.
That's right.
and maybe or maybe not they would have beaten Georgia, and maybe or maybe not the analysis would have been, oh yeah, I remember Georgia's the best of the SEC. No, it's just another team in the SEC, like Missouri, like Vanderbilt. It was just another conference. As soon as the business got involved with all of this, and there are 16 teams, you think Texas and Oklahoma are one thing, and they're just everybody's in this game now, including Indiana, because the business of this happened fast, man.
Everybody isn't in this game. There are 2 teams in this game. They're going to spot the ball, and Mass is going to kick ass. Yeah. That's what's going to happen.
Okay, but so I'd like to get Jeremy's thoughts as you want to run up the score
Why?
on Jeremy on being right.
Why?
Because you said
His thoughts are bad.
he corrected you
Bad
on
thoughts.
Jeremy.
Those bad thoughts?
Not a fan.
I want
bad thoughts.
I want facts from him. Jeremy was making a reasonable argument on behalf of the country. Mike, I don't think that you see some of the blind spots we have as a show, okay? Because yesterday on the show, you looked me in the face and you said Columbus High said, of me in this show, yeah, Dan, you're viewed as not pro-Miami enough.
Blind spots.
Ask our national audience whether we're pro-Miami enough or not. Like, you think I reputationally...
No, you in particular.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So
So
I don't think we are.
you don't have... So
We're just located.
So,
All that matters is what Mario thinks of you.
so
And the thing about blind spots, Dan, is they're behind you. I got my eyes forward. All right? I got Hard Rock Stadium, January 19th. I don't have an obstructed view of that.